You are listening to KLRN Radio, where liberty and reason still reign.
Most writers and radio show hosts know that to connect with your fans, you need to do more than just write books or record the latest podcasts. There are many different elements that go into forming an online platform, but there are also many hidden traps. To make matters worse, solid advice on how to survive the muddy waters is scarce. In the book Hidden Traps, I talk about some of the important issues of working with an online platform, highlighting traps that could put your physical or internet security at risk or be harmful to your reputation. Are your social media posts just links with a few disjointed words, making you look like someone who can't complete a sentence? Did your new website cost you more than you anticipated? Are you leaking your personal contact details across the web without even knowing it? Then you need Hidden Traps. Although Hidden Traps is not officially released until August 1st, you can pre-order your paperback or ebook copy now from a variety of retailers, including Amazon, Barnes & Noble, and Kobo. Visit blackwolfpublications.com for more details.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
Get your free inventor's information. Call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
KLRN Radio has advertising rates available. We have rates to fit almost any budget. Contact us at advertising@klrnradio.com.
This is Slickery Trigger for Rebel Road Tactical. With proper care and feeding, your pistol will be ready when you need it, there to save your life. Shouldn't your gear be that good? Whether you need a holster for comfortable everyday carry or a tough-as-nails holster for your next training course, Rebel Road Tactical has what you need. Check us out on the web at rebelroadtactical.com.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
If you're 85 or younger, would you like peace of mind and comfort for your family? We're Final Expense Direct with an urgent message for you. The average funeral today costs over $8,000, but the most you'll get from government benefits is $255. How will your family pay the difference? We can help. Our senior plans start as low as just $1 a day and pay up to $30,000 for a funeral and other final expenses. Peace of mind is easy. There's no medical exam. You'll have lifetime coverage, and your plan can't be canceled as long as you pay your premiums. Call now for free information about our senior plans. Answer a few simple questions and receive approval right on the phone. Plus, call right now and we'll give you a discount prescription card for free. Call 800-553-8687. That's 800-553-8687. Again, 800-553-8687. 8687.
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
And so, my fellow Americans, ask not what your country can do for you, ask what you can do for your country.
Freedom is never more than one generation away from extinction. We didn't pass it on to our children in the bloodstream. The only way they can inherit the freedom we have known is if we fight for it, protect it, defend it, and then hand it to them with the well-taught lessons of how they in their lifetime must do the same.
All right, folks, well, happy Tuesday evening. This is Jane and Rick. We're coming to you live right now from KLRNradio.com, where we're live every Tuesday and Thursday, except for last week. We took last week off because of the 4th of July and family travels and things like that. But we're back with you live right now, and we have a lot to talk about tonight. I think we're going to open with a bit of an audible. During the intro and the commercials, Jen found a show that I think we're going to open with. I think I'll let you take lead on this one, because I usually talk most of the first part of the show.
Okay, so y'all... lots of places declare state of emergency over, natural disasters. Even there's been some emergency states over, protesting and riots and things. So normally stuff like that gets a governor to call a state of emergency. But oh no, in Nevada, which just legalized marijuana a few weeks ago, they have issued a state of emergency over marijuana shortage of recreational weed in state dispensaries. How? I mean, this just seems so funny. They are saying that, so the Dispensary Association, is reporting $3 million in sales and almost $1 million in tax revenue between July 1st and July 4th.
So I just want to bring some now. Sorry, this is the conservative / libertarian guy in me. You said $3 million in sales and $1 million in tax revenue. So
in essentially 3 days, 4 days.
Is that $4 million total? So a 25% tax rate, or are they claiming a 33% tax rate?
I can't tell. No, I think that's... This is a good question. And I just have a little blurb here, so I'm having a hard time.
Because either way, that's a lot of damn tax money, and that's a really huge percentage of taxes.
It is. Also, yeah, so if that's true, they were able to do that in 3 days. Of course, it is Nevada, and you have to consider... the kind of travel that goes on through there and, what it's close to that other people can travel to fairly easily to be able to buy some legal weed. But if this is true, then we may have just solved the problem of money in the United States.
Apparently, we have an entire country full of potheads, so we should just legalize everywhere.
Just legalize it everywhere, tax it at the same rate that Nevada's doing, and we can eliminate the debt. How about that?
So I just want to bring, because we talked about something that happened in Nevada 5 or 6 months ago on this show that I want to bring back full circle. The dude that married his cell phone did it sober. Imagine what he'll do now that he can get high.
Oh my gosh. Well, it is funny though. Some of these laws aren't as strict. So you can't consume it in public or in hotels or in bars or casinos or outside of them or anything like that. It can only be consumed in a private home. So that's kind of interesting to me.
Yeah, no, I mean, it would be interesting. It really wouldn't change too much because, I mean, that's no different than saying you can't really drink an alcoholic beverage in public, but you can drink one in your house and then go do stupid crap outside of your house. So probably really wouldn't change
Yeah. Much. Except for a lot of people, I think, when they think about legalization of marijuana, they don't want to have to just still hide. They're already smoking in their homes. They want to be able to, I live in a pretty big pothead city. They want to be able to be at a concert and smoke. They want to be able to step out on the patio at the bar and smoke just like someone smoking a cigarette. Like they want to be able to not get in trouble in reasonable places, to not get in trouble if they decide to smoke marijuana. And some of these places that are legalizing it are basically saying no. They want to be able to smoke where you can partially smoke cigarettes, but also like in relation to alcohol. And that's just that's not happening yet, which is something I always told my pothead employees. I was always like, you do realize that this won't mean, even if it gets legalized here, it won't mean that you can come to work high or that you can get high at work or that you can, drive high or that you can just smoke wherever you want to any damn time you want to. You realize that, right? And they're like, yeah, I can. And you're like, no, that's not how it's going to work. The same way that's not how it works for booze. Like, come on, people. But
yeah, I mean, I've literally had this argument with people before. Well, if we get it legalized here, that means I could go out on break and I could go smoke a J and come back, and my work would be so much smoother, man. Everything would be so great and so mellow. And I'm like, no, that's really not how any of this is ever going to work. But please feel free to continue to delude yourself.
Well, also, it's so funny because they're always like, you never know when I'm high. And I'm like, are you kidding? I mean, first of all, some of them function very well this way. And like I said, I grew up in a city that I've always known people that have smoked pot, and it's just it's pretty much not a huge deal. It is still technically illegal though. And there is still overindulgence. And so, but my employees, it's so funny. There's always one punk that like thinks that he's like so much better at what he does when he's super high. And I'm like, no, you're terrible. It's obvious. And you're lucky I don't fire you. And I was like, you don't even know when I'm high. And I always think it's so funny because I'm like, what? Yes, I do. And I've sent people home for it. So what are you talking about? But there's a little bit of delusion there about the way people function under the influence of marijuana versus how they function under the influence of alcohol. They think that one can be detected and one cannot. And it's really pretty funny, or at least they can in their expert state of partaking. They're not rookies, they're not amateurs, so no one can tell when they do. Other people, sure, but not them. So it always kind of always cracks me up.
Yeah, partner. Nobody can tell when you're stoned. The Cheeto-stained fingers and the half-eaten Oreo trail behind you does not give it away at all.
And it's funny because I really do have some that probably, if you want to look at it kind of medicinally, have a lot of anxiety and it helps taper that off and they work just fine. But they also don't get blazed out of their gourd and try to come to work. They just, they're the type of people that take the edge off or whatever. But anyways, we've gone way farther into this than I ever intended.
Oh, I just thought it was funny when you started throwing around those numbers that they basically raised $4 million in 4 days and got to keep $1 million of it for tax money.
I know. This is like... Oh, wait, what? Okay, so now I'm seeing the International Business Times is saying inside Nevada's state of emergency weed shortage and how it could shut public schools down. What?
Wait, how did...
How does this even work?
Well, I have a sneaking suspicion after seeing the way that things have worked here in Oklahoma. Because, see, here's an interesting fact. Because everybody got excited when we started bringing in horse racing. And then they got excited when we started bringing in casinos. And they started getting excited when we brought in lottery. Because all of that money, or a good portion of that money, was supposed to be going towards education.
Oh, to school, to education. Yes, I hear you.
But see, here's what happens, and I guarantee you Nevada probably already started doing the same thing. So in Oklahoma, anytime they had an estimated revenue coming in from one of these outside sources, they would remove that amount from the state's budget that was deemed to go to education, and they would put it somewhere else. So Nevada has probably already started banking on the sales revenue that they were going to get, or the tax money that they were going to get from the wheat sales. And now that they have a declared emergency because they don't have enough product, they're like, oh no, now the schools aren't going to be funded properly because we've probably already taken some of the money out of the budget because we were going to put it back in from the weed sales, and now we don't have the weed sales. So seeing how things have worked here and watching just how stupid state governments can run sometimes, because here's the thing that makes no sense to me, because we bitch all day long here about the fact that our teachers can't get raises. But we've literally watched our state government take money that was originally apportioned in our budget to education, and they've removed it and put it other places and then put the money back in from these other outside sources. And then when the other outside sources revenues dropped, they've already reapportioned the other money that was supposed to go to education. And now all of a sudden we have a budget shortfall, and have had now for several years running, to the point where we are now approaching $1 billion revenue shortfall. We're getting close to the revenue shortfalls they talk about in California, and we have like 1/60th of the population there.
That is crazy. Well, you're right, and this just seems insane to me. So, it's been 10 days. I mean, this started on July 1st. So it has only been 10 days. What on earth business do you have before you can project anything about how this will go? What business do you have placing any sort of, putting this on the public schools and going ahead and making that something that they have to depend on? That is absolutely absurd. It says the taxation department warned in a statement the demands of the market need to be met because the state's school budget is at stake. They have hired and trained thousands of additional employees to meet the demands of the market, blah, blah, blah. This is about the businesses. Revenue collected from the 15% cultivation tax goes towards schools, while the 10% sales tax revenue goes towards the state's rainy day fund. So they didn't have any idea, and it totally it says in here up further that in all of the states that have legalized, it has been wildly unpredictable in as far as being able to predict those sales and then what the revenue will be off of them for taxpayers. But this seems just really irresponsible to go ahead and count on a certain amount of money when you haven't even started the program yet. So to say that it's threatening these schools means that they've already pulled too much money from that budget, which is just absolutely insane for something that is completely unstable and unpredictable as far as what we've been able to see from the other states that have legalized it. Doesn't mean it hasn't been good for those states in the long run. I just mean that the predictions have all been off in every state because they're all different.
Yeah, no, I mean, the interesting thing, and this would be another, if I was still trying to get a degree, it would probably be another great sociology paper or even a political science paper, because this is another example of states trying to govern how they govern in D.C. and it blowing up in their faces. And it's the same thing that Oklahoma's been doing. They've been watching the federal government basically play a shell game with our money for decades now, and they started feeling like they could do the same thing, and now it's blowing up in their faces. Doesn't matter what letter it is behind their name, because the simple fact of the matter is everybody had a chance to fix it this year, but the majority party didn't want to work with the minority party because they didn't want the minority party to get credit for it, and the minority party didn't want to work with the majority party because they didn't want them to get credit for it. So now we are facing several different budget shortfalls in my state, along with several different what will likely be deemed unconstitutional revenue measures that were passed within the last 5 days of our session that are technically not able to be passed because they're taxes, and because of a constitutional amendment you have to have a supermajority to pass those, but they changed the word to fees and then passed them inside of the last 5 days of our session, which was already unconstitutional to begin with. So my state is probably going to be just as broke this year or this coming year. Actually, I'm sorry, Oklahoma just started their fiscal year on the 1st. So we are probably going to be just as broke this fiscal year as we were last year, except now we're going to be fighting off Supreme Court rulings and everything else. And now we see Nevada starting to do much the same thing. And I bet if people really got a look at what was going on state to state, we would see this has probably become a symptom in all 50 states because the government nationally has been getting away with it for far too long.
Yeah. And I guess it's always been surprising to me that Oklahoma has gone this way. I mean, it's very, kind of anti what you think of conservative and Republican. It's just very strange.
Yeah, it doesn't make any sense to me either because they all pound their chest and talk conservative until it comes time to do something. And then, I mean, I don't get it because in any other state, our Democrats would basically be considered conservatives anyway.
Right. And also, this is not a, it's got a decent landmass, but it's not a large population to have to deal with. There's not a whole lot of diversity in industry and things and the way in which the land actually lays in that state. There's a whole lot of reason why it could be very, kind of a very easy to run state. And it seems like they're just making it as difficult as possible.
Yeah, well, I mean, again, part of that is because of the hyperpartisanship. I mean, people literally do not want to work together anymore because they don't want the other side to get the credit. And that's not only is that what's destroying the country, but it's what has single-handedly pretty much destroyed my state.
Oh, man.
Not to be a downer, but that's pretty much what we're looking at right now. And that
yeah.
As soon as you mentioned something about it affecting education, I was like, oh, I know what they've done because my state did it too.
Yeah.
But I mean, at least in Oklahoma, it somewhat made sense. They didn't start removing the money until they knew the money was coming in. I still don't think they should have removed it in the first place because the whole point of all of these other revenue streams were to bolster the education budget, not to replace the education budget.
Yeah, not to replace it. Well, and, with those kinds of things, especially, with the kind of things they're replacing it with, what they're depending on, can be unstable as it is. So that's also kind of a head scratcher. But I think the thing with this case that made it so kind of mind blowing was, wait, 10 days in and you've already allocated, a certain amount to the schools and taken away whatever else is there. So or is this a tactic to threaten? I don't know. It's because it's not real clear what percentage of it says that 15%, is supposed to be going towards the schools, but it's not real clear that the budget is actually cut. So it might be a little bit of that, like, don't let the children suffer.
Yeah,
help us get more weed here.
Well,
I don't know.
Actually, I didn't think of that. You could be right because there really isn't enough one way or the other for them to say, this is definitely going to impact. Again, we're only 10 days in. So is this basically one of those preemptive smoke more weed so the children don't suffer?
Yeah, I don't know. But where are they going to get it from? That's what it's always like funny with this. Like, where are they getting it from? Are they importing it from California? Have they already had, grow houses that were approved in anticipation of this, dispensaries being approved for recreational use? I don't know. Do they get it from Mexico? What are they going to do to get more so that they can take away the state of emergency over a weed shortage?
The governor has Jose Juan Montoya Cruz on speed dial. He's just going to have him ship some more up from Mexico.
Oh, man. Got to get that dank.
You blew through it already, man? Hang on. I have some more up to you in like 5 minutes.
Oh, boy.
Oh, so yeah. Speaking of outlandish stories, the ACLU just honored Linda Sauer.
Oh, and what did they say this time?
That she is a stand-up woman who fights for civil liberties. Not exactly sure how advocating for Sharia law in America fights for civil liberties. I'm so confused.
This is the woman that just recently, purposely used the word jihad in talking about opposing our president. She has berated and humiliated women, that have been victims of female mutilation, and has basically been like, suck it up, who cares? She has been anti-Semitic. She has advocated for Sharia law, as you said. There's been a couple other just weird things. How they made her I just will never understand how someone thought this seems like a good idea. Put her up there and have her help lead the women's movement, and then be kind of a beacon for liberalism and inclusiveness and where we want everything to go. It really baffles me, because she is, I'll just say it like Trump did. She's a nasty woman.
Oh, yes, she is. That would actually be a great segue to the next topic I wanted to talk about, but we need to get a break out of the way first. Let's go ahead and get that out of the way now, and then I'll actually come back and give my 2 cents on Miss Sarsar before we launch into the next topic, which actually played right into the lead you just And, sorry, the computer and I are not friends this evening, so bear with me for just a moment. All right, we'll be right back here in about 3-4 minutes, folks.
I'm not ready to end the fight. I'm not ready to back down. 'Cause I've been...
Here's George Foreman with InventHelp.
Hi, I'm George Foreman. Do you have an idea for a new product or invention? People ask me all the time, George, how do I get my idea in front of companies? How do I get a patent? What do I do next? Do you have the same questions? I'll tell you like I'll tell them all. Call my friends at InventHelp.
Call InventHelp today for free information. InventHelp has been helping inventors for more than 30 years and has sales offices nationwide. InventHelp can submit your invention to companies who are interested in receiving new ideas. If you have an idea and want to try to patent it and submit it to companies, you should call InventHelp today for free information.
Listen, I can't guarantee a company will be interested in your idea, but I believe every inventor deserves the opportunity to step into the ring and take their best shot. Put InventHelp in your corner.
To get your free inventor's information, call 1-800-353-6490. That's 1-800-353-6490. Again, 1-800-353-6490.
The following message contains a special offer for listeners of this station. Are you a man over 40? Are you constantly looking for the nearest bathroom? Do you wake up multiple times a night to use the bathroom? Right now, Perfect Prostate is sending out free bottles of their groundbreaking new formula to listeners of this station. Perfect Prostate Formula was developed by medical doctor Mitchell Fleischer, and its ingredients have been clinically studied to reduce your frequent nighttime bathroom visits and promote healthy urine flow. Right now, preferred customers get their first bottle of Perfect Prostate absolutely free. There's nothing to lose. Perfect Prostate is guaranteed to reduce that constant urge to use the bathroom, especially at night, and promote healthy urine flow. Don't wait. Call now for your free bottle. Just pay shipping and processing. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251. Supplies are limited. One free bottle per household. Call now. Dial 1-800-675-0251. That's 1-800-675-0251.
Tired of paying outrageous prices for Viagra? Well, we have great news for you. Now you can finally get Viagra at huge discounts. Healthy Man allows you to save up to $500 on Viagra. Why pay U.S. pharmacy prices of $15 per pill or more when you can get Viagra for less than $3 a pill? Call today and get 40 Viagra pills for only $99. This can cost as much as $600 at your local pharmacy. You can't afford not to call us. If you want Viagra at the lowest prices, never pay $15 $3 a pill pharmacy prices again. Get Viagra for less than $3 a pill. Call 1-800-516-7602 today and save up to $500 and get 40 pills for just $99. Healthy Man is fast, easy, and affordable. Operators are waiting at 1-800-516-7602 to take your call right now. Call 1-800-516-7602. That's 1-800-516-7602. Again, 1-800-516-7602.
Every day, the men and women of the United States Marine Corps stand ready to defend the American way of life. The few, the proud, the Marines.
Hey folks, I want to introduce you to a friend of mine, Dr. Richard Harden. We are on the same mission, which is waking up America. We just have different paths. So stay tuned for some information on how you can keep up with Richard and all his work.
Visit Richard's website at raharden.com. That's the World Wide Web at RAHARDIN.com. At his website, you can see a summary of the 6 books he has written, where purchases may be made. He also has a link to 18 videos on YouTube and several blogs about Christian beliefs. If you prefer, visit Amazon.com/Kindle and type in Richard Harden to see and purchase his books.
I'm not ready to back down, 'cause I've been through hell.
All right, folks, we are back. We are live, and as promised, I'll give you my 2 cents on Linda Sarsour before we roll into the next topic, which, honestly, I should have probably done before we took break, but I needed a second to take another pain pill. I've actually chipped a tooth over the weekend, so I'm actually surprised I'm talking as well as I am right now. But anyway, so before we went to break, we were talking about Linda Sarsour and the fact that the ACLU is now basically championing her as a protector of women's rights and civil liberties. I want to know what the hell has happened to the ACLU. I mean, you know, maybe it's because I was a lot younger, but there was a time that I actually used to respect what the ACLU was trying to do. Now I look at them and it's like I'm looking at a friend of mine that's grown a second head. I'm like, what have you turned yourself into? That you are willing to promote someone who wants to bring a system of government to this country. That's what Sharia law is, folks, whether you want to admit it or not. It is a governmental system, and it is completely antithetical to our Constitution. And this woman is advocating for that to be brought here. She has put out such winning tweets as, for those of you struggling with credit card debt, imagine how much better your life would be under Sharia law because they couldn't charge you interest. She's talked about how liberating the burqa is.
Oh, I know that. And that, as a woman, and when they have decided, you know, a bunch of prominent feminists decided to do like a stand with, well, first of all, there is a movement called I Stand With Linda. And then also because they think she's being unfairly attacked by those evil, bigoted right wingers. But also, she was part of the forefront of this, but like to show solidarity, to have women wear headscarves or wear burqas, to show solidarity because, you know, Muslim women are true progressives. What? This woman is insane. I was going to say one of the things I missed that she just recently did on what I'm calling her BS tour is she talked about how ISIS is the product of a politicized foreign policy of war on Muslims. Specifically by the West, but specifically by the United States. So we made ISIS happen.
No, we didn't make ISIS happen. ISIS has been around for a very, very long time. ISIS, in one form or another, has been around since the Founding Fathers, because there were actually quite a few instances with what they referred to as the Muslimen back in the day, which was what they used to call Muslims. Or back when they were the Moors and they occupied entire areas of Europe that took hundreds of years to push out. Yeah. I mean, this is radical Islam radical Islam has been going on since at least the 700s, if not before. So this is just
utter crap, and I'm calling it her BS tour because she seems to pop up every few days on these speaking engagements saying something else like this. Also, it's a little bit reminiscent of, you know, blaming the victim for the abuse.
You know, it's funny how, you know, in liberal society, because, you know, when you get the crotchety old white guy who says, well, maybe if you hadn't worn that on your date, you wouldn't have gotten raped. Then everybody looks at him and says, holy shit, did that guy really just say that? And they're all like, yeah, he really just said that. But now this lady is basically doing the same thing, and she's getting standing ovations everywhere she goes.
Yes. I mean, she is running around saying these extremely just absolutely wrong things. And she is getting applauded for it. And then she is manipulating everything. I mean, she is truly manipulating the narrative, and she is the way in which she responds to people that say, no, but this, no, but that, that doesn't mean this, or that doesn't do that. The way she responds is so calculated, so manipulative. There's a lot of gaslighting. And she is seriously pretty much brainwashing a large group of the left into buying into this, and also thinking her a champion of women and freedom. I am just still kind of astounded by it, because I can't even believe that they are heralding her as some hero.
Yeah, I don't get it. I mean, I mean, it's a completely foreign concept to me, but as you being a woman, this has got to be rather infuriating when you're seeing the things that generations before you have stood and fought for basically get overturned to start being to mean something completely different than what they should have meant to begin with. I mean, this is just asinine to me. It goes along with all these other words that have been misappropriated or changed over the years. They are literally heralding someone as a champion of women's rights who is standing up for basically I mean, not to take a feminist term, but she's standing up for the patriarchy, and she's getting applauded for it.
Absolutely. Not to mention, she is capitalizing on what the left is already fond of, which is changing what words mean to suit her purpose. She has done this on changed words, changed phrases, changed history to fit what she wants it to. And they are just eating it right up. Now, like I said, they're no strangers to this, because they constantly redefine words to suit their needs. So this kind of falls right in line with that. But, you know, when she did this thing about, you know, jihad against President Trump the other day, you know, I did read the full message, and I do agree with some people that are not hardcore right-wingers that say if you read the whole message in context, she wasn't talking about a violent uprising or anything like that. No, I do agree with them. I don't think she was. And I think she would have been really stupid to call for that. But she wasn't, and she phrased it just right so that she could claim that she wasn't. But she knew exactly what she was doing by using the word jihad. She knows exactly the weight that carries. So she is responsible for using inflammatory and insightful language, because absolutely no one is going, let me Google the exact definition of jihad, and also let me read these 84 words, you know, or more to get context and see what she was really talking about. No, you wanted jihad to be the focus and to be the key. And then you wanted to cry victim and go, oh, they just all took it out of context. So that she absolutely knew what she was doing. She did it on purpose, and everybody fell for it.
Well, she's become a master of it. So moving on to the next nasty woman in our topics, guess who's peddling T-shirts for Planned Parenthood now?
Oh, I saw this. None other than all good Hillary.
Yeah, failed presidential candidate now twice over. Hillary Clinton is now peddling shirts for Planned Parenthood, and the shirt is basically a black T-shirt with white lettering that says "Nasty Woman," and she's holding it up. Personally, I think it looks great on her because it fits. Oh, did I say that out loud? My bad.
What is that even? I mean, They are just...
It's going back to the Ashley Judd thing.
Oh, I know, but I mean, they are just terrible. This picture of her holding it up, first of all, I don't know who let her post that on Twitter. Like, where are your handlers? The lighting was awful. If you could possibly look worse than you do, you did. And it was just so bizarre. But yeah, she looked terrible in it. And then she's holding up this black shirt that says "Nasty Woman," and it talks about supporting Planned Parenthood. What does that have to do with Planned Parenthood? What on earth is that actually supporting? What kind of message is that sending? And why would you want to, even if you are just mocking something, that shouldn't be a message you're doing to raise funding for what you believe is a good cause. It's really kind of making it a cool thing to be like, yeah, I'm a stupid bee. I really don't get it. It seems so childish to me.
Well, I think, and this goes into the last topic I wanted to kind of touch on, but these two will dovetail together quite nicely, because this is actually a way to play off of what happened in the campaign, because Hillary Clinton came up with this idea of calling most of Donald Trump's supporters a basket of deplorables. And then they started running with the title deplorable. So the left, when they heard Ashley, I almost called her Nasty Judd, but that might have been fitting. Ashley Judd come up with the phrase, well, I'm just a nasty woman. So they're basically trying to do the same thing. They're trying to adopt the phrase that was considered a negative at some point and turn it into a positive and use it as a marketing slogan. I think it's going to fail miserably, because I don't think even most of the women that have had abortions would consider themselves a nasty person, because most of them feel justified in doing it. So I don't necessarily think it's going to work, but it goes along with some of the rest of the mindset of the left, because look what's been happening since Donald Trump won the election. We're going to rewind just a little bit to give you guys some backstory. So Fox News really started hitting the scene right towards the end of the Clinton campaign. That's when they really started getting a little bit of traction with their news stories, and then Bush 43 was elected, and they were there, and they were doing their nightly stories, and everything was great, and they were building their market share, and they were doing this, and they were doing that, but then Obama hit the scene, and Fox found a gold mine. Anything that Obama did, they could come out negatively against it, and they would hit pay dirt every single time, even if it was something positive. They could come out negative against it and hit pay dirt, because they knew there was a vast portion of the country that agreed with everything that they said when they said something negative about President Obama. So now the left is trying to do the same thing with CNN with Trump. Anything that President Trump does, whether it's a positive or negative, gets a negative spin through CNN. And they're trying to emulate the same business model that Fox News did. The only problem is this time most of the country's not buying it, which is why CNN is starting to tank. And it's the same thing going on with these t-shirts. They had an idea that they saw the right was able to use and use positively, and they came up with the same idea. And again, their marketing sucks, and I don't think it's going to work. But who knows?
Yeah, it just seems really strange for an organization to take this route, an organization that claims to help women, to be passionate about women, to build up women, to then decide, in order to get some digs in and to try to be funny, make a shirt that says "Nasty Woman" and want people to buy that to fundraise. It would not be my choice. I would not go that way. It's a little bit different than just some, group that it was started to support, the memory of Reagan or something, that puts on t-shirts that say "right-wing nut job." This is quite different. I mean, this is a large organization that gets, federal money, that gets taxpayer funded, and purports itself to be like the number one, choice in healthcare or necessary healthcare for women, and to be all about women and all the things. And then this be their new little fundraising effort. I don't know. It just it goes way off the mark to me.
Well, what it proves to me is they don't buy 99.9% of their rhetoric, or this would have never been approved.
Well, I think that's probably true. They go off their rocker if someone is misgendered, but you can make a T-shirt saying nasty woman, or if a man speaks sternly to a woman, he's mansplaining, talking down to her, condescending, whatever. But hey, we can make T-shirts calling them nasty. Even if it is a joke. Not everybody's going to know that when you're walking down the street.
Well, yeah, but I mean, I don't know. What are you going to do? I mean, they're literally in meltdown mode. I mean, look at everything that's going on in the news right now. They are doing everything they can to basically just do anything to bring attention to themselves again.
I know, it's crazy.
It reminds me of the kid who, and I don't know a nice way to put this, but we've all seen kids like this. They don't get enough attention from their parents. So eventually they figure out that the only way they get attention is by being a jerk. And it doesn't matter that it's negative attention, because the simple fact of the matter is it's attention. They've become that kid. The left is so incensed right now because they really don't understand what happened. They don't get it. They don't understand it at all. This was Hillary's time. This was her chance. I have talked to everybody from diehard liberals to millennial liberals who for the last 8 years have ushered this in as the liberal utopia, that Clinton was going to continue the Obama administration's legacy, and they were going to be 16 years of Hitler. There were going to be 16 years between Obama and Clinton, and by the time that they were done with that the country would have been so fundamentally transformed that Republicans and conservatives would have never been able to do anything again. And that didn't happen. So right now they're doing everything they can to tear anything positive down, put everything they can in a negative light, and they're even willing to they're willing to put themselves in that same light just to sell T-shirts.
Hey, how about they go low, we go nasty?
Yeah, they kind of pretty much did do that, huh?
We they go low, we get nasty. How about that? Yeah. That's the ticket. I don't know. I mean, they're already so off base anyways. Look, they are just flailing. Planned Parenthood also came out in support of all of the people that saying that Democrats, there are a couple of articles written about Democrats needing to move more centrist and how they're losing the moderates to the Republicans. That's why we are dominating pretty much every election across the board on the federal and state levels. And so people got very furious about this and said, no, we should not sacrifice. We should go farther left. You can't go center. You can't do this, whatever. And Planned Parenthood also came out with that. And it's like, I mean, they're just not getting it. And I guess that if they're so scared of Donald Trump, and if they think he really is the dictator that they act like he is going to be, then you'd think that they would wake up and realize that further left is only going to keep that dictator in power.
You would think, but apparently, because we keep asking ourselves what's happened or what's changed. I want to bring up two quick articles, and I'm not really going to go into too much depth with them. One of them, if you have any children listening, I would advise that they go find something to do for about the next 2 minutes, because this actually came up. I was having some system issues over the weekend. I actually lost a hard drive, so I've been putting things back together, and I wasn't able to get things running smoothly enough to do a show last night, so I went and hung out and listened to Daniel Stafford's show last night, and he usually does about a 15-20 minute after the show segment, and everybody's freaking out because I'm still in there, and I'm like, yeah, lost my hard drive, hanging out with you instead. But before he did his little history segment, he was mentioning an article that was put out, I believe it was in Teen Vogue, and it was talking about the joys of a certain form of intercourse that we won't name on the air. But it was an article that was aimed at anywhere from 11 to 14-year-old girls, and explaining how to enjoy this particular form of intercourse that would not result in pregnancy, and how not to be scared of it, and how you should be comfortable with it, and it's not strange. And we're talking about 11 to 14-year-old girls. I remember when I was 11 to 14, I was happy that a girl wanted to hold my hand. I was not thinking about places I could stick my woohoo at 11 to 14.
No, I saw what this was that you're talking about, and it was tips for this particular sexual act that is not your mom's sex act, let me tell you that. But it was complete with like anatomical diagrams and lots of things pointed out. It wasn't just like a little blurb, like there were like pictures I went, wait, hold the phone for a second. And, I got a lot of people going, it's kids, like they're going to have sex anyways and nothing you can do about it. Yeah, but Teen Vogue used to be about like tips for like having a good manicure and, maybe something about like shaving and cute bikinis for summer and, send in your kiss and tell stories and things like that. They're still like fairly innocent. And even if there was some stuff that was a little bit more grown up, never going so far as giving tips for sex. That's crazy and completely irresponsible. And I'm like, no, rolling your eye. I'm sorry. Maybe I'm just not sexually liberated enough and I'm not cool enough to be, and I'm not a huge prude, but this made me feel like one because I was ready to be like, if I ever have a daughter, and go into full on mom mode. And so many people were like, well, they're just telling them because no, they can still get diseases. They can still have all sorts of complications and issues. And to be giving them tips is totally different than saying, here's how to have safe sex. And also, by the way, maybe don't do it like until you're ready. That's not what this was. This was absolutely describing how to have successful and pleasurable, have a successful and pleasurable certain act.
Yeah, this was literally like a subchapter of a sex ed class on steroids in a kids magazine.
In like a sexy way. Yeah, it was a how-to.
It just astounds me. And then we had a Cosmopolitan come out this weekend or this week and bash the celebration of gender, which I knew what they were getting at, but the title was still annoying. So I'm just going to be completely honest. Yes, gender reveal parties are annoying and I don't like them and I've never been a fan. But to come up with this idea that we need to stop celebrating gender because gender is like so 20th century, these are the same people that tell us that we need to believe in global warming because of the science, but we need to embrace the fact that there are either no genders or multiple genders, depending on who you're speaking to, other than the two.
Yeah, and buckle up. There have been a couple countries now where they have allowed for people to get a birth certificate without a gender printed on it because they're not going to gender their child.
We're talking about basic biology. I don't get this. The party of science.
But Trump, because when you have a certain type of group that you identify with or that you want to support or that you believe in or whatever, or maybe it's just a pet political project so that it can keep bolstering you up because they support you, then in that case, and also because you love the gays and the trans, then you are morally superior. You are obviously more enlightened. You're more tolerant. You're more progressive. All of these things. And so in this case, emotion and thought and feelings can trump science. Science in this case is antiquated. But in all other cases in which they want you to believe in something, then science is the holy gospel. So it's always depending on what they want. It's depending on the narrative they wish to drive and the goals, the ends, having they're deciding how to basically just, I can't even get my thoughts together on this because it's so ridiculous. They want to decide what their reality is and they want to force it on everybody else when they want to. And that reality does not have to be consistent with other beliefs and other realities that they hold. So it's just a complete logical fallacy on on multiple subjects all at once and tons of inconsistencies. And that doesn't matter. They just all hang up there balancing in the air. It's really quite absurd.
And we all sit here wondering why the left has gone schizophrenic.
I mean, really, that's basically what it is. It's like when we're talking, I had a conversation with someone like this very recently. And I mean, she was like, well, but what you don't understand, well, we're not talking about that right now. No, I'm trying to get you to see how inconsistent this is. I'm trying to get you to see how you can't say this on one front and then on a completely other subject, completely disregard what you said there and was your defense there and what your argument was there and make it be this and this and this. And how can you see that these two don't relate? Well, because they're not the same subject. It's not the same. That's not what we're talking about. I mean, they literally just push it away. And they just talk over you and they say, no, you don't get to do that. You don't get to say that. You are changing the subject. You are talking about something different. That's irrelevant. It's infuriating. And it's just you just run around in circles.
All right. Well, believe it or not, we are officially about out of time. Why don't you remind folks where it is that they can hang out with you when you're not on the air hanging out with me?
I am at J Homestead on Twitter, JR Homestead on Facebook, and check out misfitspolitics.com. Tomorrow night is our Misfit Gift Challenge, so come join the fun.
And I, of course, am you can follow along with me on Twitter at AOTR_host. I, of course, am Rick Robinson. Typically, I do America Off the Rails Monday through Thursday at 11 p.m. Eastern. This show on Tuesdays and Thursdays at 10 p.m. Eastern. And then also Robinson and Wright Friday nights at 11 p.m. Eastern, right here on KLRN Radio. Now, here in just a moment, we will have an episode of America Off the Rails coming up next. It will, however, be a replay. It will be a live stream replay, but still a replay. Got some things going on tonight, and it may be a little too noisy in the background for the next few minutes, so we're just going to go ahead and live stream a replay. But on that note, folks, we are officially out of time. I'll be back with you live tomorrow night. Don't forget to tune in at 6 o'clock Central, 7 Eastern. We start the night with Politibunny, with her good friend and guest, the Road Beer, is actually joining her tomorrow night. And then, of course, we have Grouchy will be on, I believe. I think he's going to have a couple of folks on from the pro-life movement, but I can't think of their names right now because I'm having one of those nights. But so that starts at 7 Eastern, so those will be 7 Eastern and 8 Eastern, respectively. And, of course, I'll be back with a live episode tomorrow night at 11 Eastern. So we'll see you guys tomorrow night. Take care and God bless.
I'm not ready to end the fight. I'm not ready to back down. 'Cause I've been through hell and I don't have time to go round and round and round. It's too